Hello, I am David Spark for Zoho, and I am speaking with Keith Pollen, who is the Group General Manager for SEO Works. Keith, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, David, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Uh, Keith, just tell me a little bit about SEO Works. What is it?
SEO Works is we used to say small, now perhaps with the help of Zoho, medium-sized company that's involved in providing search services to companies all around the world. We're based in Australia, but also have an office in San Francisco. And we have around 24 people and look after clients who are looking to be able to maximize their visibility online, particularly with the search engines.
Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about the history of your business and the problems that you were having. So, what problems were you having, I guess, tracking customers or maintaining your contacts, and how long has this been going on? Like, how many years have you had the business?
Oh, this is now year 9, and
Wow.
so we originally started off with employee number 1, me,
Congrats.
and good to be still here. And now there are 24 people on the team, and the challenge that we had as we were growing, and for those people who have worked with small business, you understand there are certain big leaps that you have to make. And for us, what we found was that the processes that worked when there were 2 or 3 people, and you can talk amongst yourselves and say, "Hey, Freddie, have you remembered that?" and so on. As you get bigger, you need to be able to make it much more seamless, and to be able to make sure that those opportunities that come up don't slip through the cracks. And we were finding that leads were coming in, referrals were coming in, and writing down on a piece of paper or putting them in a spreadsheet, making notes in Outlook, all that kind of worked a bit until we got to about maybe 5, 6 people and started to work on some bigger projects. And then taking things further as we got to around 10 people, then clearly the communications and the systems have to be in place to support that kind of communication that's required when you've got sometimes some of the guys single projects, but often collaboration is important.
So how many years? Oh, I'm sorry.
Scott,
So how many years are you in the business where you realize this paper Excel Outlook solution isn't going to cut it?
that was about year 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wrestled for a couple of years with various CRM solutions.
And were you familiar with CRM prior?
We were, but again, mind back to maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, CRM was still kind of pretty new, didn't have all the bells and whistles that you have today. And so, again, we
Definitely
were finding...
cloud-based CRM was new back then.
Very much so. And so we tried out a couple of alternatives there.
Can you tell me what you tried out? I'm interested in the whole journey. So what did you try out, and what did you like, and what didn't you like?
We tried out one of the free systems. The name escapes me, and that just wasn't the functionality we required. We then worked with Salesforce for a year and a half, and again, what we found in that particular case was that although potentially quite powerful, somewhat inflexible, didn't quite move with what we wanted, and did a good job in its core activity, but didn't necessarily connect with everything that we wanted to do. And
Okay, so let me pause you for a second right there. This is what I'm interested in. So what was it that you were looking for? What did you need out of a CRM solution that the first one that you can't remember didn't provide, and Salesforce couldn't provide you? Give me the specifics.
I think it really comes down to really being able to map out end to end from the moment that the phone rings through the time it turns into a project from our point of view, case management, all of that, which now is in our DNA. Business pretty much wraps around Zoho, was possible, but it always required an external consultant or very, very detailed development work involved. And at that point, we were a small company, great on ideas, thin on available time. And so we continue to have this kind of love-hate relationship. And so in the end, we also then said, oh, okay, well, there's a dollar factor to be considered as we got to 10 users, 12 users, more. That started to become a really big number as well. And so clearly one of the attractive things with Zoho has been how cost-effective it is for our business.
Well,
And
let's talk about how you even stumbled across Zoho. How did you even discover it?
we're a search engine optimization company. We went online and we
So,
typed in. It's our first
if
port of call.
anyone's going to know, you guys are.
Indeed. So we literally stumbled across it. We look at 2 or 3 solutions, and again, this is year 4 of our users' experience with Zoho. So we then kind of played with it a little bit. Got, hey, this kind of does that, and great. This is a really easy way to integrate. We run several websites, and so in 5, 6, 7 different sources for us online. Hey, we can have a different form on that website, and that is that inquiry came from that website. And we'll get that form that tells it came from that website. Now that sounds like a really standard thing today, but 4, 5 years ago, it wasn't easy to do. So now we get the very first part of it, that lead generation part coming in, and then that goes into the leads area. It then starts to then stream into our business. No longer do paper get lost. No longer do spreadsheets get awkwardly deleted. And also for the guys who are involved in managing our lead generation, and how we convert those, we've got very measurable benchmarks to work with now. 25 business leads came in last week. 10 of those were pretty hot. We've converted 6 of those. Those kind of business benchmarks for a small growing company are quite important for us.
That's excellent. So let's talk about how, it's not the ramp up. I mean, once you started to deploy Zoho, I mean, how long did it take you to ramp up? What exactly did you want to happen, and how long did it take you to get to do what you wanted to do? And be descriptive of your whole process.
Sure. In the beginning, we were literally an out-of-the-box user. We went, hey, we can set up some users, and hang on, all that stuff's kind of in place. So that's one of the great things about Zoho is you really can hit the ground running quite quickly. And then from there, because the flexibility of the licensing and the subscription relationship there, adding users is really, really quite easy, and therefore we don't have to think, gosh, we've got to sign another contract, we've got to commit to another year or 2 years or 3 years. And so that flexibility is important for us. We're generally a growth company, so we have a very long-term retention rate with our team. So therefore adding new licenses and growing that is important to us without being encumbered, if you like, by a long-term contract. So that was one of the important factors for us. Literally turning it, logging it in, bang, and within a couple of days we were going, hey, hang on, that's how that works. Good, okay. We then moved on a little bit further and then said, okay, now how do we get our head around this? Okay, leads generated, that's good. Okay, we then turn that into an account. If you just click that button, it's converted into an account. Great. Oh, okay, well, that's good. Now, that account's now got a case. They want something done. Hang on, you can click this and create a case. And so we became a pretty, I guess, connected with this system because it was so easy to put there, and a lot of it was pre-configured.
What I'm hearing from you now is that you were discovering the use of a CRM solution through Zoho in general. I mean, it sounded like you were all green with CRM at the beginning.
Yeah, very much so. And we were a little shy as well. We'd found the previous systems a bit restrictive and pretty high learning curve. So we were using previous systems maybe for maybe 0.5% of its potential. Today, we've moved on from there, and we've gone, hang on a second. Now we can be able to putting some business rules in place that says, okay, lead comes in either by phone or via the web. Okay, that now gets routed. Somebody has to deal with that. And when they deal with that, then from there's some further actions that are triggered when they go, okay, I've now taken that to the next stage. So now, as we're now a fourth-year user, we've got some important business rules in place and some business practices that's moved from just the CRM functionality now to it's on my screen over here. So we now use it for our product area, use it for preparing quotes and proposals for clients. And then also we then convert those for sales orders, and then that integrates with our accounting solution. We use another cloud-based solution, Zoho, for our accounting solution. And so now we've kind of got that ideal situation that says, hang on, our business is running pretty well. It's running quite seamlessly. We no longer have that and that level of small to medium business discomfort that says, how's my business doing? I go over here and I just click here and I look there and I can have a look and see very quickly, literally in 2 screens, how we're traveling, where that business is coming from, how that's moving through the system. So it's how business revolves around Zoho.
That's awesome to hear. So let me ask tag to that. How do you think your business has changed now that you're using Zoho? I mean, you've described everything, but overall, the business of SEO Works is now this because of Zoho. What would you say it's changed as a result?
I take it back to the very basics. We would never have been able to grow to the size that we are and to deal with the clients that we deal with. We do work for IBM. We do work for Telstra, which is here. We do work for clients in the USA, a big global engineering company based in Texas. Wouldn't be able to manage those projects, and we wouldn't be able to make sure that we manage them effectively, deliver a good product, and deliver it profitably. So, to be absolutely honest, without Zoho, we wouldn't have got to the stage that we're on.
Well, that's great to hear. So you described sort of your basic process. Do you think that you're using Zoho in any kind of unique way that's very different than other people? Or, I mean, I don't know how much you know of how other people use Zoho, but I always ask this question. I always do get an interesting that they use, everyone discovers a unique way to use it. So do you have one way to use it that's unusual?
I don't know that it's necessarily unusual. Certainly we use the case management part possibly quite differently than most people. We use that.
Explain.
We use that not so much on a customer service or customer response level. We actually use that as like a pre-project management tool. We open a case when a client has a request or a need, and it's not quite got to that point where it's a project ready to go live. And so using the case to be able to track that grey area between an order, and that helps us to be able to, again, make sure that both internal and external requests are being carefully managed. And again, nothing cracks. It's so important. I know that I can look at the Zoho system and very quickly when a client's calling me, and within a minute I'll have a very good snapshot of going, okay, that's the client, it's at to, these are the cases they've got going, these are the projects that are running, and therefore I can be well versed in exactly what the status of that is. And not a huge number, but maybe 140 clients at the moment. Without Zoho, I wouldn't know end-to-end 140 times 3 is maybe 400 projects and activities going on. Couldn't have that at my fingertips without Zoho.
So you have a full sort of connection between Zoho projects and Zoho CRM, correct? Excellent. And then so that allows you to have that insight into that. Well, this is excellent. Let me just ask you sort of a final closing question, and that's regarding advice. Think about another company. I always ask this at the end. Think of another company that wants to hit a growth phase, and they're kind of stagnated right now. Looking back at where you were and what you know today, if you could have done a little bit faster, and you could give the advice to somebody else, what advice would you give them to sort of kick you into gear a little bit faster?
the single piece of advice, and we actually do this. We get clients coming to us who are in a similar point that we were 4, 5, 6 years ago. They're looking for raising their online visibility. They want search engine optimization. They want search engine marketing. And one of the key questions we ask is, okay, well, when we generate this business, then what? And usually it goes quiet. And then okay, we think that you need to have a customer relationship management CRM solution in place to begin to deal with this stuff. One of the reasons for that is very selfish from our point of view. We want them to see measurable results coming into their business. And if it's in on pieces of paper, on Excel spreadsheets, Outlook docs, etc., then the message gets fuzzed out there. So the advice that we give them is, hey guys, you need a customer relationship management system. Usually also goes very quiet because they go, oh yeah, no, we're not enough, and I couldn't take on the setup, anything else. And then I just show them on screen, and I go, okay, here, do this, click here. Yeah, that's how you set up a user. This is all pre-configured, and within 2 or 3 days, they've signed up.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. I was speaking to Keith Pollan, who is the Group General Manager of SEO Works. And if I want to know more about it, I go to
Find us online.
SEOworks.com, correct?